Great. Welcome everybody. And yeah, the theme that's been requested by more than one person is about the hips, and what I always call, go backwards a bit, the hinge of the body. Such a lot going on here because it's the lower back, it's the groins, it's the hips, inner and outer, and it's the belly and the womb, and it's a lot, and the digestive system. So I thought we'd just focus in on the kind of hinge of the body with a particular look at opening the hips in all the different ways they open to create space in this area and move some energy. Hi Kaz, welcome. So let's just start in Shavasana. We're just with a breathing practice that's focused on the area. So just lie yourself down, just be here for a few minutes before we begin to move. So just as we would at the end of the class, just check your alignment and just let the feet flop out to the sides, let your arms be away from the sides and the palms up. If you prefer to put the legs in any other position or bend the knees, then that's absolutely fine too. But for classic Shavasana, this is what we're doing here. For this hinge of the body, some of you might feel really comfortable in Supta Baddha Konasanas. I'm just showing here, soles of the feet together, knees wide. This is a classic posture for opening this target area of the body that we're looking at this evening. Or otherwise just Shavasana. Just take that moment to settle. Maybe take a big breath in, really filling the lungs, and maybe just sigh it out. Or a big exhale through the mouth, and just kind of releasing. And if you want to do that a few more times, that's absolutely fine. Just kind of a few settling in, wiping the slate clean breath, so we fully enter into this different space, this yoga practice space, leaving everything else behind for a little while. And then you're welcome to keep the hands on the floor, but if it feels okay, you can bring the hands to the lower belly and take that Shakti Mudra, that downward pointed triangle where you've got your thumbs touching around the navel and the first fingers touching wherever they land, which is going to be somewhere towards the pubic bone. And we just breathe into the space below our hands. So we're just going to start with simple belly breathing, or you could call it womb breathing, but really breathing with awareness in this lower belly pelvic bowl region. So as you inhale, just feel that whole area expand, and exhale, sink. And just feel the warmth of your hands kind of nourishing your body here, this part of the body. You can feel that you're kind of charging this part of the body with appreciation, love, gratitude for all that it does as you breathe. Just breathing in and out through the nose, but focusing especially on lifting the belly on the inhale, creating space, releasing, relaxing everything on the exhale, which naturally draws everything inwards towards the center. Just allowing the breath to naturally slow down as you drop into this simple yet powerful practice. This is one of the best things to do if your nervous system is fried, if you're in fight or flight stress response and you can't seem to get out of it. Lying on the floor, belly breathing helps to nudge us into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, the restoring. Just notice how you feel. Maybe just a sense of comparative peace or calm spreading through the body just with this simple practice. Check your jaw is releasing. And then at the end of your next exhale, you can release that belly breathing and take a big stretch. So take the arms overhead, pointing the toes to stretch the front of the legs, flexing the feet to stretch the back of the legs. So just flex and point the feet a few times, And then inhaling at full stretch. Exhale, we're going to bring the right knee into the chest and take the psoas release. So if possible, really express that left heel, the leg that's on the floor, really push out through the left heel as you draw the right knee almost towards you and in. So it's towards the chest, but it's also kind of towards the face. So if you think about it, the left heel and the right knee are moving in opposite directions. We get this big stretch in the hinge of the body. Releasing the left psoas muscle. Try to keep square on the pelvis. Check you're not rolling too much to the right. Check that the left side of the back is pressing into the mat as much as the right side of the back. You have to really anchor down through the left leg. Breathing deep. Let's just put a little ankle circle in while we're here. We'll just hold it a little bit longer than usual. Really get the benefits. Change direction of those foot circles or ankle circles. And then we're going to come into half happy baby. So release your left hand onto the left thigh. If available, take hold of the little toe edge of the right foot and bring that right knee towards the armpit. If you can't reach the ankle, you can, the foot, you can hold the ankle, or you can just rest the wrist on the back of the knee as well and keep the leg in the same shape. So once again, have you roll to the right. See if you can use that left leg as a very active anchor to keep the left side of the back and the left shoulder and left buttock down on the floor. And that might mean the right knee doesn't go as low, and that's okay. Slow, deep breaths. And then from here, just release the heel to the buttock, stretch that leg out, come back into the full body stretch, and you might just need to do a little rearrange of the pelvis to come back into central alignment. You might wish to do just a few more of those flex and point of the feet. And then take a big inhale at full stretch and exhale, bring the left knee in towards the left side of the chest. And again, as long as it's okay in your back, we're keeping the right leg straight and we're pushing out through the right heel actively, like away from you, and drawing the knee towards the chest, but more than that, almost pulling the knee towards the face. So I actually take a really big kind of good pincer grip of my hands around the shin and gently kind of pull the knee, I don't know if you can see that, towards the face as I push it down. And at the same time, the right heel's really pushing in the opposite direction. So we're literally opening this right hinge area. Relax the face and the jaw. Obviously, we're using the arms a little bit, but relax the back and the arms as much as you can. So we're quite active here, very active stretching. Start to circle that left ankle if you haven't already. Great, and change direction, take it the other way. And then moving into half happy baby. So your right hand can help anchor down this right thigh. So encourage the right leg to stay down on the right side of the body, holding the little toe edge of the left foot or ankle or back of the knee, bringing that left knee down towards the armpit. Check you've not rolled to the left too far. Anchor down right buttock, right heel, right shoulder blade, as much as you can here. And breathe deep. This time we're going to bring the left heel in towards the buttock, but bring the right heel up to join it. So if we can, soles of the feet together, and we're holding the outer edges of the feet. If that's not available, again, hold what you can here, the ankles or even just the front of the knees, but try to keep the big toes together. Make sure the head is down on the floor, or if it's not possible to have the head on the floor, put a support under the head so the head is supported. And now we're in Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined cobbler pose. Breathing into the inner hips, inner groins, thighs. And all of these postures we've done so far are also helping open the lower back. So just the whole of this hinge area, just getting a lot of attention. Breathe with awareness. Maybe try the belly breath. And then opening out to full happy baby. So again, hold what you can here. We're at the start of the class. It might feel a bit more tight than usual. So if you can't find the feet, ankles all back to the knees. Keep the feet flexed, the knees toward the armpits. And breathe. And then bringing the knees together, just give yourself a hug. You can either hold the back of the knees or the front of the shins, and up to you. If you want to rock side to side or take circles and bring movement in, that's fine. Otherwise, just being still. And just again, those slow, deep, perhaps belly breaths, just breathing into the whole central hinge region of the body. Such a lot happens. The inner hips, front of the hips, contracting here, lower back stretching. And then our final posture, thread the needle. Again, we're early on in the class, so it might feel tighter than usual. So you might wish to keep the left foot on the floor. We're going to bend the left knee, left foot on the floor, flex the right foot, ankle, right ankle on the front of left thigh. You could just stay here. If it's available at this stage of the class, lift the left foot off the floor, feed the right hand through that gap underneath the right leg, reach the left hand around the left leg. So again, hold the back of the knee or the front of the shin. Once again, make sure the back of the head is supported, ideally on the floor, but if that's not available, put your head on a block. It just told me that my internet connection was unstable, so apologies if I'm dropping out in a little bit this evening. Hopefully you're getting the gist. So and thread the needle, and we're just breathing some slow, deep breaths into the outer hip, right side, right lower back, right groin. Great, and then releasing that side, and we'll just swap sides. So just take the right foot down, flex that left foot, outer ankle on the front of the right thigh now, outer left ankle. Keep the right foot on the floor if you want to be more easy at this stage, or lift the right foot, take hold of the back of the right knee or the front of the shin. Keep the left foot flexed, possible, but just relax the right foot. Floppy right foot, active left foot. And breathe. Check you're not frowning or creating lots of tension in the jaw and the face. And then at the end of your next exhale, just release. Just for a moment, come to the constructive rest pose, just to complete this little supine sequence. So feet mat distance apart, inner knees touch or block between the knees if you need. And again, just rest the hands on the belly or just hands on the floor, whichever you prefer. And just belly breathe, just a few more rounds, just bringing our awareness back to our focus area, hips, belly, groins, lower back. Nourishing this whole area with really aware breaths, full belly breaths. You feel like you've got a balloon in your belly that's inflating as you inhale and kind of massaging all these different parts from the inside, lower back, pelvic bowl, the belly, and kind of contracting a little bit as you exhale. Now we're going to slowly come to one side and push ourselves up. And we'll come up and we'll come straight into child's pose. So we'll just begin with knees together. We'll do different types of child's pose this evening. So just coming onto the knees, dropping the hips onto the heels and bringing the hands back to the feet, the classic balasana, letting the shoulders drop forward. Taking, again, some slow deep breaths. You won't be able to belly breathe so easily here because the belly is very compressed. But what I love about this pose is how we physically feel the breath. So as you inhale, you can feel the torso pressing on the thighs as it expands. And exhale, contracting. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to tabletop, bringing yourself up to the hands and knees. And we'll just cat-cow, so we'll move into the spine. So inhaling into the cow, lifting the tailbone, belly drops, looking up. Really use those eye muscles, look up to the eyebrows. Exhale, tailbone under, stretch the spine to the ceiling, chin to the chest, look down the tip of your nose. Just keep that going. Moving with breath. Great. And then at the end, your next exhale, just returning to neutral. We're going to just spread the fingertips, tuck the toes, and come straight up to downward dog from here. So just press those hips up and back. If you wish to walk out this downward dog, this can be really nice again to work with the hinge of the body. So you might want to see what I'm doing, but I'm kind of lifting alternate heels, but I'm pivoting my feet to then the hips side to side as well. If that works for you, can feel, for me, it gets a lovely stretch around the lower back and the outer hips and into the side body a little bit. And then just coming back towards the center and just settling yourself into your first downward dog, keeping those fingertips spreading, toes spreading. And of course, child's pose is always there for you. I'm always going to say that. Just listen to your body. But otherwise, just a few slow, deep breaths here, feeling your strength and stability in downward dog. And then at the end of your next exhale, look forward and walk or step your feet to your hands. So your feet are about underneath your wrists and underneath the hips. And we take that standing forward fold. So we bend the knees as much as we need. Hold opposite elbow or dangle the arms. Legs strong. Torso releasing towards the floor with gravity. Top of the head dropping towards the floor. Jaw releasing. And then taking the hands down. From here, just step the left foot back and come onto the top of the left foot and the left knee. So we're coming into the crescent moon lunge. Just come up on your fingertips, draw the shoulders back, open the chest forward. We will revisit this shape when we start to flow, but just gently starting to ease into now the front of the hip. So the left hip flexor getting an opening here. So just a gentle stretch for now. And then we're just going to do a little flow here. So inhale in this position, exhale, take the hips back and straighten the right leg as much as you can, fold over the right leg. Inhale, coming back to the crescent moon. We're just going to do this 3 times. So it's like a rocking back and forward. Exhale, half splits. Don't worry if you can't straighten that right leg. Inhale, crescent moon. If you need to move the hands back and forth, that's fine. Exhale, half splits. Okay. Inhale, back to the crescent moon lunge. And then this time, plant the hands, lift the back knee, come to the low lunge. Again, you can come up on the fingertips. So we're now on the ball of that back foot. We're still getting this big opening on the front of the left hip, but slightly different now. Maybe you feel it more on the inner upper left thigh, where the psoas attaches. And then from here, you can either just come straight back to downward dog or child's pose, or you can begin to build the flow by coming into the plank or tabletop, exhaling to lower down, inhaling to a back bend, and exhaling downward dog. Okay, optional. Take a couple of breaths in whatever position you're in here, child's pose or downward dog. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So bring that left foot forward, step it straight forward, or come to your knees and bring it forward with your hands. Lower the right knee, come to the top of the right foot. And again, just for this first round, keep the fingertips on the floor. So we just gently ease into this right hip flexor. Shoulders drawing back, chest moving forward, just looking ahead. Just breathing into that stretch. Nice. And then again, we're going to just flow with the breath 3 times. So inhale into this crescent moon. Exhale, rocking the hips back, straightening the front leg as best you can, folding into half splits. Inhaling back to the crescent moon. Exhale back to half splits as fluidly as we can, but don't worry if it's not so fluid for you. Just do what you can here, but the body likes the repetition. So we go 3 times and then coming back again into the crescent moon one last time, sinking those hips, and then a bit more active with the back leg, tuck the back toe under, lift the knee off the floor. Super strong in the left leg. Left knee is now above left ankle. We're on the fingertips again. And like we did lying on our backs, it's like the right heel is moving behind us in one direction and the left knee is moving forwards in the other direction. So we're really opening the hinge of the body. Right, and then from here, planting the hands, and again, you can come back to child's pose or downward dog, or there's that opportunity to vinyasa, to flow with the breath, coming back to downward dog or child's pose for just a couple of breaths, feeling the hips awakening. We've done the outside of the hips, the inside of the hips, the front of the hips already. Feeling this area, responding, becoming alive, warm. And then at the end of your next exhale, walk, step or jump the feet to the hands. And inhale, extend the spine, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press through the feet and raise the hands above the head. And exhale, bring the hands to the side. Great. We're going to come into a flow that really will focus on the hips. We'll just do 3 rounds with different variations. So come to stand at the front of your mat, rolling the shoulders back and down, dropping the tailbone, connecting to your breath. So we're not so much belly breathing, we're in the kind of more dynamic part of the class. So consciously shift away from soft belly breathing more into dynamic upper chest breathing, maybe Ujjayi breath. And we're going to inhale, raise the hands and look up. Exhale, forward fold, dropping the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And exhale, step the left foot back. And once again, come down to crescent moon. So come onto the left knee, onto the top of the left foot. You can keep the fingertips on the floor, or this time you can raise the hands and come into full Anjaneyasana here with the palms touching or shoulder width apart and perhaps looking up. So a slightly deeper stretch, but keep very strong in the legs, especially if you're very open. Squeeze the inner thighs together, drop the tailbone, breathe deep. Exhale into a twist. So this could be left hand to the outside of right knee or left elbow, palms touch, looking behind you. Breathe as deeply as you can in your twist. And then at the end of the exhale, coming forward and just swap your right hands and your right foot over. So we've got both hands inside the right foot and just start to sink maybe a little bit deeper. So the chin and the chest start to move towards the floor, coming into the lizard stretch and maybe walking the hands further forward a little bit, maybe coming onto the elbows even, or if you're not quite elbows to floor, but you're getting close, elbows on a block as I'm showing here. Just taking a couple of breaths. We're quite passive in that back leg in this one because we're working more with the release of that right hip. Keep the right toes pointing forward. We'll do another variation in a moment, but for now, right toes point straight forward. Okay, and if you're down on your elbows and forearms, come back onto your hands. Just slowly ease off that left hip a little bit. So take the hips back, slightly swap the right hand and a foot over. And again, you can either come straight into child's pose or downward dog, or take that little linking sequence as we exhale down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. And we'll do that on the other side. So from child's pose, downward dog, taking a couple of slow, deep breaths. And then from here, left foot comes forward and we release the right knee down to the floor. And again, you can just stay here, fingertips on the floor, or squeezing inner thighs towards each other, connecting to your deep core. We raise the hands and look up if it's okay for our balance and our neck. Opening the chest, but more than that, opening the front of the right hip. That's what we're really focusing on here. And the lower right belly. Exhale into your twist. Choose your hand position. It could be elbow or hand, but either way, we're looking over our left shoulder behind us. And breathing as deeply as we can. Always trickier to breathe fully in the twist, but as much as we can. Dynamic breath now. And at an end of an exhale, unwind, facing the front. Just swap your left hand and your left foot over. So your left foot goes a bit wide, but just check your left toes are pointing straight forward. Sometimes they want to point out to the left. And come into the lizard stretch where we just sink the torso, sink the chest down towards the floor, inside that left thigh. Maybe bringing the elbows and forearms onto a block or onto the floor, or just slightly bending the elbows, or just keeping the arms straight. Keep disciplined with that left leg. In this variation, the left knee points straight up to the ceiling, the left toes point forward. Great, and then if you're down, coming back up onto the hands, slowly taking the hips back slightly just to help you come out of this. Swap the left hand and the left foot over again. And again, you can come straight back to child's pose or downward dog, or left foot joins right foot plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale to a back bend, shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, downward dog or child's pose. And take some slow, deep breaths. And at the end of your next exhale, look forward, walk, step or jump the feet to the hands, and inhale, look up and extend. Exhale, drop the head, fold. Press through the feet, inhale, raise the hands, palms tuck, look up. Exhale, mountain pose. We've got 2 more rounds, so just take a couple of breaths between rounds just to feel the effects. So hopefully you're really feeling that in front of your right hips. We're going to just do something similar, but moving more into the inner hips in this next round. If you want to skip the linking sequences, the flow, just join us in the hip releasing postures. Okay, so inhale, take the hands up, look up. Exhale, forward, fold, drop the head. Inhale, look up and lengthen. This time, step the right foot back first. So we've got left knee forward and stay in the low lunge. So keep on the ball of that right foot. And again, left knee is above left ankle. Strong in the back leg. Remember, right heel's moving backwards, left knee's moving forwards. Right hand on the floor underneath the right shoulder, maybe on a block, and lift the left hand up for a twist. Your shoulders are tight. You could just keep your left hand on your left hip alternatively. Look up to the left hand, press down actively through the right hand, create space between the shoulder blades. That's it. And exhale to release that left hand down. We're going to repeat what we just did before, but slightly differently. So lower the right knee down, swap the left hand and the foot over, but this time deliberately turn your left toes out, so pointing towards the left side of the mat, and your left knee is following. And you just kind of allow that left knee to drop out to the side. Some of you will be able to, or even want to, come onto the little toe edge of the foot, so lifting the big toe edge. And then again, you can stay here, or as before, you can take the hands forward and start to drop the chin and the chest down lower. So it's the same lizard stretch, but a different variation on the front leg that gets more into the inner hip and groin and thigh. You can even kind of do a side to side little movement here, just rocking side to side, optional. exploring what that feels like in your hip. If it doesn't feel good, if you've got stuff going on in your hips, then just repeat the first variation. Okay, and then from here, if you're down on your elbows, coming up, and just turn the left toes to point forwards again. Lean into the right hand, which is more or less underneath your right shoulder, and reach the left hand back. Now you can stay here, so left knees, right knees on the floor. That's it, and we can stay here. Or some of you might be able to bend the right knee, take hold of the foot with the left hand, and just get that thigh stretch as well. Quite intense on the front of the right thigh. Keep those hips sinking if you can. If you're really open, you could even come down onto your right elbow with the forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Optional. One more deep breath. Beautiful. And if you've got the foot, release the foot, come to face forward again, swap your left hand and left foot over. You might just need a child's pose after all that opening. But if you wish, there's again that opportunity for a flow, exhaling down, inhaling upward dog, exhaling down. And in child's pose or downward dog, just take some slow, deep breath. Great. And then when you're ready, we'll take that right foot forward now, so between the hands, and we're in the low lunge. So we're on the ball of the left foot, right knee is above ankle. We just take a moment to feel that opening at the hinge of the body, right knee drawing forward, left heel drawing back. Feel that stretch around the groin, left hip. Take the left hand down to the floor or block underneath the left shoulder, and take the right hand onto right hip or stretch it up to the ceiling. So you're twisting towards your bent thigh. Yes. Draw the navel in, press actively through the left hand, find space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, release the right hand down, release the left knee down. Swap the right hand and the right foot over, so right foot goes slightly out to the right. And again, turn the right toes out to the right slightly, so they're kind of pointing towards the edge of the mat. And the right knee follows, and we allow the right knee to drop out to the side. And then we stay here, we'll start to walk the hands forward and drop down towards the elbows. Try to keep the spine long, looking in front of you. Maybe lifting the big toe edge of the right foot off the floor, so you're just kind of on the little toe edge to allow that right knee to drop out even more. Maybe adding that little side to side movement here, if that feels good. Notice what's going on in your right hip and your left hip, actually. Both hips getting a big opening here. If you're down on your forearms, bring the hands back in, ease yourself back up, and turn the right toes to face forward. Left hand underneath the left shoulder, and reach the right hand back. So come into that twist. Stay here, or maybe bend the left knee, take hold of the top of the left foot with the right hand. Try to keep the hips sinking down and look over your right shoulder. Breathe deep. I know this is intense. It's a strong opening for the quad and the right hip. Sorry, left hip. One more deep breath. And if you have the foot, release again after all that opening. A child's pose might feel delicious. Or one more time in this round, vinyasa, with your breath. If you've got the energy, it feels good. Pausing in downward dog or child's pose to breathe that through. And then your next exhale, look forward, walk, step or jump, feet to the hands. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way up, reach the hands up, arms touch. Exhale, hands to the side. Just take a moment here, again, breathe it through, in mountain pose. Feeling the aliveness, the heat, the warmth, the buzzing, the tingling, whatever you're feeling around your hips. Okay, we've got one more round. I know this is a lot of flow, so if it's too much, going for the postures. Otherwise, we're going for our last round. So inhale, take it up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, left foot comes back first. Stay on the ball of the foot, heel lifts. I'm going to come up to the high lunge now. So right knee is above or slightly behind the right ankle, and we're taking the hands up, getting this big opening from left foot to left fingertips across the left hip. Draw the tailbone under. Feel that increase the stretch on the left thigh as you drop the tailbone. And then we're going to take the right hand and hold the left wrist and pull up on the left wrist and inhale. And as you exhale, just gently pull the left wrist over to the right, keeping the chest facing forward. So it's just a side stretch, side lean. Keep that tailbone tucking under, left leg super strong. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, just that for this round. We'll take the hands down and either vinyasa or downward dog. Your choice. A shorter sequence this time. With a strong opening on that left, on the hip and the stoma. Returning to downward dog, child's pose for a breath or two to recoup, regather. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the left foot forward. So you might need to come onto the knees and actually bring it forward, but we're coming into the high lunge. So left foot between the hands, left knee more or less above or slightly behind the ankle, reach the hands up. We're on the ball of the back foot and we're kind of bouncy, springy on that foot. Right buttocks are super strong, squeeze the right glutes. Breathe into the chest. Feel that stretch from right fingertips to right heel, all the way across the front of the right hip. Draw the tailbone under. Left hand holds right wrist and we pull up as we inhale. And we exhale, pull that right wrist over to the left. This is a mega opening for your right psoas muscle. You may or may not feel that, but just know it is. Chest face forward. Big releasing stretch. One more deep breath. And then come back to the center, just that. Take the hands down. And this is the last time that we can flow if we wish, or we're straight to downward dog or child's pose. Coming to downward dog, and if you are in downward dog, take a breath or two, but then let's all just come down to child's pose just to kind of complete this last round. Dropping the knees, dropping the hips onto the heels, taking the hands back to the feet, dropping the shoulders, head to the floor, and just take a moment to just let the pace come down, reconnect to the physicality of your breath. You'll probably notice your heart rate's up a bit, your breathing has changed. Try to slow it down. And then from here, bringing those hands forward again, coming up to tabletop, back up to downward dog, just for a breath or so. And then at the end of your exhale, walk or step the feet to the hands. And before we come up, we're just going to drop into a squat here. So the heels might lift. That's some people can do this with the heels down, but I can't. So heels can lift, and we just have the fingertips on the floor. And we lift up through the spine here. Just for a breath into the contracting again, the front of the hips. And then plant the hands, lift the hips, look up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, drop the head to the shins. Inhale, press through the feet, raise the hands. Arms touch, look up. Exhale, hands to the side. Okay, we've done our flow aspect. So again, just pause in mountain pose and just take a moment, notice how you feel. So far we've been going to the front, so we're going to do some side openings and then come down to the floor for some more kind of releasing stretches. Okay, so come to face the long edge of your mat. Sorry, I think I might have dropped out again then. Apologies if I did. We're going to come into the triple and a half moon box to really get this lateral opening of the hips. So we're going to turn. The feet aren't too wide, we turn the left foot in, the right foot out, and we know we're going to need a block for half moon, then have it ready by your right foot. We inhale with the hips facing forward and exhale, slide the torso to the right, right hand comes down, left hand comes up, turning the thighs, looking up to the top hand. Really press into the outer edge of your left heel and the big toe edge of your right foot. We square the feet, open the hips. Bring that left hip down to the left hand down to the left hip, turn to your right foot. You can skip this posture if it's too much for you, but otherwise we're going to try half moon balance. Bend the right knee, take the right hand forward to the floor or block forwards and to the outside of your right foot, and start to step the left foot in. And when the right hip's above the ankle, we start to raise the left foot, eventually in line with the hip, or the right knee's bent and the foot's just hovering off the floor. It's still a balance. You can keep the left hand on the hip or raise the left hand. Your torso eventually is open to the side. When we're more wobbly, we look to the floor, and it's okay for the torso to be facing the floor, but eventually opening up to the side. Big hip open in a very different way now, external rotation of that right leg. Yep. And then to come out of this, we're going to bend that right knee, just bring the left foot down. Inhale, come all the way up. Bring your block to the other side if you know you're going to need it. And we'll just go straight to the other side. So right foot in, left foot out, hips face forward. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, slide the torso to the left. Left hand comes down. Right hand comes up. Trikonasana. So again, we're focusing on hips. So we've got this external rotation of now the left hip. So to help that, we draw the tailbone under. Again, we really work with pressing the little toe edge and the outer edge of the right heel down. This is going to open right hip as well. And we really anchor down through the whole of the left foot, especially the big toe edge, which often lifts up here. One more breath. And then bring that right hand to right hip, turn to face your left foot, bend the left knee. Bring the left hand down to the floor forwards and to the outside of the left foot. Use the block if you need on any of its heights and start to slide or step the back foot in and see where we can get to. We might need to keep the left leg bent and hold the back foot off the floor. We might be able to straighten that left leg and bring the right leg up in line with the hip. We may be able to raise the right hand. If you're super balanced in, you can even look up to the top hand. If you're wobbly, look down to the floor. Flex that right foot, toes to the shin. Internal rotation of the right leg, external rotation of the left leg. And then to come out, bend the left knee, bring that right foot down, come up with as much control as you can muster. Great. Okay, I'm just going to check the time. Okay, we've been going for a while. It's time to come down to the floor. Well done, everyone. So I would like us to do Malasana squat. So we'll come down for our stretches by one more kind of standing hip opener. Take the feet mat distance wide and toes out, and inhale, stretch up, and exhale, bend the knees. If you've got knee issues, come as low as you can and then just put your hands on your thighs. But if it's available, we come all the way down. It's okay if the heels lift, and we bring the hands down in front for support if we need, or we bring the hands to prayer position at the chest and use the elbows to take those knees wide. And so we focused a lot on the hips in this standing sequence. So we're going to take it down a notch as we come down to the floor and focus more on the kind of pelvic floor, pelvic bowl, belly area, and just opening the inner hips and groins. So just a couple more breaths here if you can. And then when you come down, just use your hands for support. We're going to come down and we're going to come straight into Baddha Konasana, which is kind of a similar opening. And I invite you to sit on a block at this point if there's any hint of strain in the lower back. So even though I don't need to, when I use a block here, it's so much more spaciousness in this. We're focusing on the hinge of the body, the lower back, and the hips, and there's a direct relationship between the two. So even if you don't normally, try elevating the hips, and it's like you're sitting on the front edge and sloping the hips down. So I can show you from the side. You're not just sat with your bum right on the flat of the brick or block. You kind of come forward, so you're on the edge of the block. So the pelvis is kind of sloping down. I don't know if you can see that. And then Baddha Konasana legs. Okay, so if you'd rather not work with a block, that's fine. Holding the outer edges of the feet, lifting up through the spine, Maybe closing the eyes. Let's just return to belly breathing here. What's it like to bring our awareness back to that slow, deep belly breath? It's never a full belly breath unless we're supported on the floor, totally passive. But we can just start to make that shift again. We've done a lot of dynamic hip work. What's it like just to simply make a shape and then breathe into the belly? Create space with your breath. Create space with your inhales. And release tension, old energy, stagnant energy with your exhales. So the breath moves energy in this area. You can imagine again that wall in the belly, stretching and opening as you inhale, contracting as you exhale. Touching all the many things that are going on here, the reproductive organs, the womb, the digestive tract, the kidneys and the urinary, genitourinary system, so much in this area, kind of massaging, nourishing, moving energy with the breath. If anybody wishes for a deeper stretch for the last few breaths, then feel free to keep the elbows in and take the chin and the chest forward. You might feel a bit more precarious if you're on quite a high block, so just be mindful of that. Or if you're really enjoying where you are, just stay where you are. Coming back up. Just bring the hands to the outside of the knees, draw the knees together, just give yourself a hug for a moment, maybe dropping the head onto the knee. Then we're going to come, if you're on a block, we're going to come into pigeon, but we'll just come from tabletop. So just in your own time, just bring yourself back to that tabletop position. And if you know that pigeon is too much for you, you could repeat the thread the needle that we did at the start of the class on your back. But if possible, we'll start with this right side. We're going to bring the right knee forward. So the right knee is all the way out to the right side of the mat behind the wrist. Tuck your left toe under and walk the left knee and the left foot back as far as it will go. So again, it's that same feeling of walking the foot back to increase this opening in the hinge of the body. And then you can stay here, but if it's available, we start to put the weight of the body onto that front leg. So we start to walk the hands forward and, if possible, support the head. So forehead could be the floor, could be a block, could be your on your elbows and you're resting your forehead in your hands, but support the head if you can. So remember your right knee is wide. If you need to, you can put something underneath the right hip, maybe a block. If it's all too much, come out, come onto your back, thread the needle. If anybody needs a reminder, just feel free to unmute and ask, I'll show you. So we want to, even though this is intense, some kind of releasing. So again, come back to that breath if you can. Relax the belly and belly breathe. Even in the intensity, can you stay with that relaxed belly breath? Relax the face and the jaw. If this isn't for you, if you've got sacroiliac joint issues, instability, you could just hug both knees into the chest on your back, or child's pose. Otherwise, just a few more slow, deep breaths here, focusing on belly breath. And then at the end of your next exhale, slowly start to walk the hands in. So you might need to press yourself up if you've been all the way down. And then ease yourself off this leg. So press through the hands to release that right knee. And my favorite thing to do after pigeon is 2 stages. Come onto hands and knees, and on the ball of that right foot, press that right heel back. If you're on your back, you can just stretch your legs into the air instead, but we're opening the back of the right knee. And then from here, I would take a downward dog. So this is just to bring the energy back into the legs after that compression to the right leg. Opening the back of the right knee. And then we'll swap sides. So you could come straight in from downward dog, or the same way as before, come down onto your hands and knees, and then slide the left knee forward. So the knee is all the way to the left side of the mat and the shin is across the body. And then you tuck that right toe under, and again, just walk the right knee and right foot back as far as they'll go, and then come down. I can show you better on this side. If you need to support under that left hip, you can use any support under the hip. And then stay upright if that's enough, or if possible, start to walk the hands forward so the weight of the torso presses on that left leg, the left shin and thigh, developing the stretch. If you more stretch, you take your left foot further forward until eventually the shin's parallel to the front of the mat, and vice versa. If you want less stretch, bring it back closer to the right hip bone. Support the head and drop into your belly breath practice, whatever shape you're making here. Relax the back and the shoulders and the face and the jaw. Never forcing our body beyond where it's comfortable to be. But when we find a place that's perhaps intense, but where we can practice full deep belly breathing, then we just gently explore that edge, dance that edge with the breath. And it should be well within your comfort zone. And let's not say comfort zone, well within your capacity and your ability to relax within the experience. A few more breaths here. And then at the end of your exhale, again, get all the way down, pressing yourself back up onto your hands. Press through the hands so that you can gently ease the left leg out behind you, back to tabletop, and then stretch the left leg out. Or if you're on your back, stretch the left leg up to the ceiling, but open the back of the left knee. Give it a good stretch. And then a strong legged downward dog as an option. This is just what I like to do. To follow. Feel the legs working again after the passive stretching, especially that left leg. Apologies for my dodgy internet this evening. Okay, then we're going to come down and take a wide knee child's pose. If you prefer knees together, that's fine, but the wide knee just gets us into the inner hips and thighs and groin again, as well as still the lower back. So you can take the hands all the way forward, or you can just bend the elbows, rest the head on the back of the hands or behind the forearms, or just find whatever works for you. You might find that hands back and turning the head to the side is good. You might also, if you've got a bolster, you might enjoy lying the torso on a bolster at this point. It's totally optional. You have the bolster between the legs and just relax the torso in the bolster. Again, just slow the breath right down, creating space. The benefits of the wide knee child's pose again is that the breath is freer. There's less compression of the torso, so you can breathe more fully. If you've got one head, you've got your head turned to the side, turn it the other way. And relax those shoulders and the back, and the jaw. Belly breathe. And slowly bring yourself up. So I'd just like us to do another just short breath practice that's focused on this area of the body. So I'm going to invite you to get seated comfortably, which could be again on a block or a bolster. And we're just going to do sectional breathing, which is where we put our hands on different parts of the body and breathe into the hand, the space beneath the hand. So we've already done this a little bit at the start of the class, but it's a little bit more focused breathing. It just really helps bring our awareness into this part of the body. So first of all, we're going to put our hands onto our lower belly. It doesn't matter what position or where, but really kind of down below the navel, just above the groins. We're just going to close the eyes and we're going to breathe with total awareness of sending the breath or emphasizing the breath in the space beneath our hands. So we notice the inhale pressing into the hands. The inhale presses the belly into the hands, the lower belly. And the exhale, the belly draws inwards. So we emphasize the breath, or we emphasize our awareness of the breath in this part of the body, this section of the body, section we're breathing. It should be quite easy to feel that movement. It gets a bit trickier. We're going to now move our hands to the sides. So again, quite low down, just around your hip bones or just above your hip bones. So you're kind of resting your hands on the hip bones. And we're going to just breathe into, again, focusing on breathing into the space beneath the hands. So as you inhale, maybe you feel that widening of the body, pressing into the hands, and the exhale, drawing in towards the center line. So it can be a bit more subtle here, the movement, but you should still be able to feel that rhythmic expansion and contraction of the body with the breath underneath your hands. And again, as we place our hands on different parts of the body, we can feel that as like a healing touch and nourishing warmth on our body, sending love, appreciation, gratitude, healing to these different parts of our body. And then lastly, we're just going to take the hands behind the back. If you've got very tight shoulders, this might not be possible. It might be quite uncomfortable, in which case come to one of the previous positions. But if possible, bringing the hands all the way down onto the lower back, either side of the spine, just kind of around or slightly below the kidney area, above the buttocks. This is the hardest one to feel possibly. But we want to feel the breath move the body beneath our hands. So we know that we're touching the inside of our lower back and kidney area with the breath, massaging ourselves internally, creating space, moving stagnant energy. It might be very subtle, but as you inhale, you might feel the back press into the hands a bit more, and a slight lessening of pressure as you exhale. And then when you're ready, just releasing that. And if you've got the luxury of a yoga bolster, I'm going to give you an option with the bolster here. If you haven't, we can do it without. And also, likewise, if you have a yoga strap that's a proper yoga strap that has a loop that doesn't move when you pull it, then again, there's an option for you. So everything's optional. Option number one So what we're going to do, Supta Baddha Konasana, again, like the reclining cobbler pose, but not with the legs in the air, legs on the floor. And you could just lie along your bolster. You could also, this is really lovely, if we're just going for more of a restorative space creating, nourishing feeling, you could use if you've got a solid brick, yoga brick, you could prop up the end of your bolster. So this is for those who've got all the kind of yoga gadgets. This is really lovely. And the final, don't worry if you haven't, I'm going to show you other alternatives in a moment. But the final option is if you've got a yoga strap, we can take the bound version of Baddha Konasana, which again is really lovely. Not everybody likes it, but those that do tend to love it. So we find a big loop and we put the loop over our body and we take the strap all the way down to just above the buttocks. And the soles of the feet are together. And we take the other end of the loop over the top of the feet. So you can see I'm doing that here. So it will be underneath the little toe edge. And then we tighten that strap quite tight, but not super, super tight, because as we go backwards, it's going to get a little bit more tight. And then we lay ourselves down, and you should feel how it's supposed to work is that the belt is taut. So the belt is taking the strain. So your leg muscles don't have to do anything to stay in this shape. They're held in place. So it can be very relaxing. Okay, so if you don't have a strap, you can just do Baddha Konasana without the strap, and you can just lie back on the floor. We don't even need the bolster, or you might have a block, and you put the block underneath the shoulder blades. So with or without props, Supta Baddha Konasana, and this is just a classic posture for creating space. If anybody's unsure, you can have a little look. Sorry, just turning lights on. If anybody's unsure at this point, unmute, let me know. I can give you some specific guidance. Okay, looks like everybody's settling in. And if you're using a bolster or a block underneath you, then relax your shoulders, open your chest. Are you in, Amy? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Jaw, the face. And we're just going to stay here for a good couple of minutes, give ourselves time. So this would be a good opportunity. Sorry if I dropped out again then. This would be a good opportunity to practice the belly breathing again. But I would recommend keeping the hands on the floor just to really relax and open the chest. And as we belly breathe, or we could say womb breathe, breathing from this area, we can also connect with our heart center. Chest is nice open here. And draw some invisible or imaginary, but imagining a connection, internal connection between these two areas. Heart and belly, or heart and womb, intimately connected as we breathe, slow, deep belly breaths, belly heart breaths. And from that heart connection, sending our belly, our womb space, our pelvic area, lots of love, appreciation, gratitude. And from that womb space, that belly space, bolstering and strengthening the heart. And these two parts of our being working together intimately. Our power and our capacity to love. Beautiful. So we're going to start to think about coming out of this. So if you don't have the strap around your legs, you can just roll to one side and come out that way. If you have the strap, then you just need to use your elbows to press yourself up. And the easiest way to come out is just to unhook the strap off your feet, and then you're immediately free. So just release the feet first, and then you're totally free. You can take the loop off your body. We're going to come down onto our backs just to finish. That was a little bit of a back bend, so we'll just complete that. Can be our back bend this evening. We'll just complete with some finishing stretches, still working this with this hinge area, and then a nice long shavasana. So just coming down onto your back. You may, after the back bend, I always like this neutral position. If you know that works for you as well, then you might just wish to just take a couple of breaths, extending both legs into the air, just like the reset. But then we want to come into the counter pose, so just hugging the knees into the chest. And again, feeling for yourself, stillness or movement here. Which is it? Which feels better? Maybe the tiniest little rock side to side, or circles. And then we'll take a twist. So just simply let both knees come over to the right. Take the left arm out in the opposite direction. Maybe anchor down the left thigh with the right hand. Look over the left shoulder. And we're getting this lovely stretch around outer left hip, thigh, and lower back. Then you can also breathe into the left lower belly and the left chest area. Relaxing your jaw, closing the eyes maybe. Slowing the breath down. And then just finding that gentlest core connection. We're going to bring ourselves back to the center and just allow the knees to come over to the left. Left hand can anchor down that right thigh if that works for you. Right arm extends away, along from the shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Slow, deep, releasing breaths. And then when you're ready, just coming back with awareness in the core, and we will close with happy baby, or if you prefer, Supta Baddha Konasana, Supta Upavishta, or knees to chest. But yeah, any of these symmetrical hinge opening postures, happy babies, the classic, holding the feet or the ankles or the back of the knees. Belly breathing. And then just bringing the heels to the buttocks, bringing the knees together, that last little hug, giving yourself a hug of appreciation, gratitude, love, maybe lifting the head up towards the knees. And then releasing into Shavasana. And if there's any tenderness in the lower back after the back bending or anything, use a bolster under the knees if you have one. Make sure you're warm enough, use a blanket. And just let yourself sink into the floor. All the work done. And just feeling a real letting go and release through your whole body, but especially around this area of focus we've had. So making sure the buttocks are soft and relaxed. And the belly. And the feet are really just flopping out to the side so that the legs and the hips are not working here, passive. And the lower back is releasing. And then just going deeper, those deep, deep core postural muscles, just releasing muscles, the deepest level of our awareness. And even beyond our awareness, just inviting release of our organs, our reproductive organs, everything just releasing and settling into their natural places within our body, taking their space, expanding to their fullness. Deepest postural muscles soft, pelvic floor muscles soft. And just let go of any breath control now. Be still. If you wish for a longer shavasana, just stay right where you are. Otherwise, start to deepen the breath. Start to bring movements back, small at first, fingers, toes, and maybe some deeper body stretches. And just gradually, if you're closing with me, just drawing yourselves back up to seated in your own time. Taking your time. And then maybe this evening, rather than Anjali Mudra, maybe again we can just finish with that Shakti Mudra, just with the thumbs around the navel, fingers pointing down towards the pubic bone. It's a triangle. And just holding that mudra, just maybe closing the eyes and just consciously closing the class with, again, gratitude, appreciation, love for this part of your body that does so many different functions, like unbelievable amounts of things for us. Hugely intricate, complex, magnificent. Connecting with this part of us with love, gratitude. And whenever you feel complete, in the eyes again. Thank you for practicing this evening with me. Namaste. See you soon.